Yo, what's going on guys? Arekkz here. Welcome back to another video for Monster Hunter Rise. And in this one, I thought I'd put together a look at some of the mix sets that we have been using. I say mix sets, full sets. Basically, the sets we've been running recently for some of our hunts. If you guys have seen our multiplayer gameplay videos with the squad, then we'll of course be running different builds. And for those of you guys that want to sort of get an insight into what myself, TwoSixNine and Paradise Central have been running, and I thought I would feature some of those in this video, plus a couple of bonus layered armor sets for those of you guys that want to enjoy those. Speaking of layered armor, what do you think about my Sun Wukong set that I've got right here? Since they added the feline tail, I've basically been able to create a Wukong armor set. Yes, admittedly he should have a bow staff, but I like sword and shield. I will take a look at this set at the end of the video. First things first, turn your attention to the set that TwoSixNine has been running. This is for his longsword. Of course, he uses the Phantom Mirage, which is the Chameleos longsword. Really cool looking weapon, and of course can have a slither of white sharpness. And of course, if you want to make that go further, you will of course want some protective polish. You can also swap this out for the Arekkz longsword if you want some big Helmbreaker damage. But for this one, Phantom Mirage, and then the armor set pieces are the Kaiser Crown, of course Teostra, the Vikemail S, the Barioth Vambraces S, the Anjanath Coil S, and the Hunter's Greaves S. The charm in this situation is a level 2 Quick Sheath 1-point and Evade Extender charm, and it then has 2 decoration slots, which we can then fill there. So if we turn our attention to the decorations, of course, on the sword, you can throw in a Critical Jewel 2 and 2 Steadfast Jewels. In the helmet, you have your Grinder Jewel. In the chest, you have your Handicraft Jewel, a Sharp Jewel, and a Grinder Jewel. The gloves carries a Tenderizer Jewel, the waist another Tenderizer Jewel, Grinder and Steadfast, the legs a Critical Jewel, and then in the charm you want to put a Sharp Jewel and a Tenderizer Jewel too. Altogether, this will then give you the following skills. You of course have Attack Boost level 4, Critical Eye level 4, Stun Resistance level 3, which is just actually super handy. It's one of those kind of things that it's kind of easy to sort of throw into armor sets, and it just carries a ton of benefits. Plus you have Crit Boost level 3, Weakness Exploit level 3, Quick Sheath level 3, which again for longsword is an absolute game changer. Just the time that it saves you, especially on your sort of a special sheath, means you can actually get some things out pretty quickly from that. Of course you have Speed Sharpening, you have 2 points in Protective Polish, so of course not the full duration, but the fact that you've got Speed Sharpening means it's only 1 cycle on the animation, and again you then have that nice 60 seconds of White Sharpness, making it go a lot further. And then you have a point in Maximum Might, Handicraft, and Evade Extender. So all up, just a really nice set of skills, and it's just kind of a chance to do a bunch of damage with this weapon. You have 238 attack and 35% affinity, so it is a very nice, potent combo. So for the longsword fans out there, if you guys are looking for something to sort of put together, then consider giving this a try. Moving on from there to a set that Paradise Central has been running. This one, I said before, it's kind of not a mixed set because this is basically full Valstrax gear. Honestly, I've had so much fun just messing around with Valstrax gear. It is really nice. It has some great skills on it. It has some great slots on it. And you can also upgrade the defense, so it is actually a pretty meaty set. But this one here, of course, is for the Greatsword, using the Naga Cougar Greatsword. You can also use the Rampage Greatsword in this one. It is a good alternative now that you can get them up to Rarity 7. You can spec in Sharpness Type 1, as opposed to the new Type 4, so you don't lose the Raw. You can then use 1 Handicraft with Protective Polish 3 for that White Sharpness. But again, you will have to lose some skills for that. So this one runs with the Naga Greatsword. Of course, you have all the default Valstrax pieces in place. And the charm for this one is a no slot, Critical Eye level 3, Tremor Resistance level 2. On the slot front, it's a Charger Jewel in the Greatsword. It is a Charger Jewel in the helmet with the Steadfast Jewel. You then have another Charger Jewel, another Steadfast Jewel, a Critical Jewel, a second Critical Jewel, and a third Critical Jewel with a Steadfast Jewel. Altogether, that will then give you the following skills. You have the Dragon Heart, which again we've spoken about. This is the Valstrax set bonus, which of course when you contract Dragon Blight at 80% health, it then gives you the boost to your elemental resistances and that 10% attack power. You then have Resentment level 3 and Resuscitate level 3, giving you those further attack boosts. We have 3 points in Critical Eye. We have Critical Boost to the max. Weakness Exploit to the max, Focus, so of course we can speed up those charges, Stun Resistance, again very handy, and 2 points in Tremor Resistance just because they happen to be there, but again, can be useful in select situations. But basically, this whole set is just a wombo combo for Greatsword. You take chip damage through your tackles, you take chip damage through your adamant attacks, through your Rage Slash, basically just lots of opportunities to slowly chip away at your health, thus getting the Resentment proc for more Raw. Once you drop below 80%, of course Dragon Heart kicks in, giving you that 10% Raw and applying Dragon Blight to you, which also procs Resuscitate, which gives you a further boost to your Raw. So this is basically the set where you take chip damage as a means to proc those, and you then deal a bunch of damage in the process. It's a lot of fun, and of course if you like the Greatsword and you like damage, then have some fun with it. Then for my sword and shield set, actually shout out to Mopop99 and Aeonera over on the Monster Hunter Meta subreddit. I will link their post in the description box down below. My set is effectively, I mean, it's a pretty kind of cookie cutter set we've seen before, but this one's had a couple of changes because we now have the ability to upgrade our Rampage weapons, and I like the fact that I can use the Rampage sword and shield because I can then change the look of it, which means I can actually run with the Nawa sword and shield because I just love that design. But this one is of course comprised of the Kaiser Crown, the Tobikadachi Mail S, the Sinister Gauntlets S, the Anjanath Coil S, the Ingot Greaves S, and I also have a Talisman, which is a weakness exploit level 2 and a 2 slot. That's kind of what you need for the build, but of course this one happens to have a spare slot and a point in item prolonger. On the decoration front, it's a grinder jewel in the helmet, a tenderizer jewel in the chest, a critical jewel in the gloves, second critical jewel in the waist alongside 2 more grinder jewels, and a brace jewel in the legs just because it was a free slot and I like that so I don't get tripped up with the sword and shield. And then also an attack jewel in the charm. I do of course have a spare slot I can throw something into there, but basically for the most part you have what you need. Because with all this put together you have 6 points in critical eye, of course giving you that 30% affinity. You then have attack boost level 5, giving you that 6% attack boost. You have critical boost level 3, of course increasing the damage for those crit hits. We have weakness exploit level 3, again giving you that 50% increased affinity when striking weak spots. We have speed sharpening just to speed up the process. A couple of points in handicraft just to boost up that sharpness. A point in mind's eye, ignore item prolonger, that just came as part of the charm. And a flinch free and Hellfire Cloak just because that was kicking around. But since this one is the Rampage Sword and Shield, I'm also using Sharpness Type 1. Again, the main reason for this one is because by using Sharpness Type 1, we still get that nice big high roar, as opposed to if we jumped over to say Sharpness Type 4, you then do get slightly more sharpness, but you do of course take the sacrifice to roar. So by having handicraft and just keeping it at sharpness type 1, we can have the maximum roar and we can then boost up the weapon. You then have non-elemental boost and affinity surge. So altogether you do have a decent chunk of white sharpness. Again, keep in mind I am running hard basher with this one, so all while I'm doing my shield combos, I'm not depleting the sharpness, and you can still keep things like perfect rush to a minimum, so you can basically make that white go pretty far. And again, having speed sharpening means that anytime I do have to sharpen, it's not going to take me very long. So all of these are basically just big damage sets, but for the most part that's just how I've been playing recently. Obviously there's plenty of other things. If you guys haven't checked out 269 and Paradise Central's channels, make sure you do so. They've got some fun builds they've been messing around with themselves. They've got some great videos over there. They are of course linked on the channel and they're linked in the description box down below, so definitely check them out. But those are a look at some of the sets we've been running recently. However, for those of you guys that want some spice in your life, then we got a couple of fun layered armor sets. One of them you may have seen from some of the gameplay videos we uploaded. You've noticed that Paradise likes to run around as Woody from Toy Story. This one, if you want to make it, you do want to go and select clothing type 4 for the kind of best look. And you then want to go and choose the following pieces: the brigade helmet, the leather vest, you want to hide your arms, and then you want the Roggy coil and the leather pants, and you colour them like this to look like Woody. Alternatively, for the assassins out there, if you want an Assassin's Creed look, then yes, admittedly the helmet doesn't quite go with the rest of the thing, but you kind of get the overall look in motion. You look like an assassin, you have the Kezu helm with the rest of it being brigade coloured white, and that's your look at the Assassin's Creed sets. But for the most part, that's pretty much it. Hope you guys enjoyed a look at some of those mixed sets. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys have been running with recently, and of course keep it locked for plenty more. If you want to catch more from us at Arekkz Gaming, don't forget you can catch the guys 269 and Paradise Central streaming over on Twitch weekdays, playing a variety of games. If you guys want to jump in, tune in, watch, and even join in, then make sure you check them out. The links to those are in the description box down below, and of course you can join the Discord to get involved in all of the discussions.